Hey there, YouTube. This is Vargas, recording live from the Vargas Vault, your World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. And today I am going to do a request video requested by my good buddy, the Moviejohn. If you've been following my channel at all, you know that recently I've gotten into a bit of a wrestling phase. I have gotten all out with wrestling lately. I've been buying wrestling belts, luchador masks, and some action figures here and there. Not too many. I don't want to like own, you know, the whole roster throughout the years. But and recently I've been able to find some old wrestling figures that I used to own, but had in my parents' house. So he requested that I should do a video showcasing my very small wrestling figure collection. It's not big, and I don't have all the legends, but I do have some of my favorite wrestlers and some other wrestlers that have popped up. Let me just lower. There we go. Much better. So first off, I wanted to share. I'm still missing one figure. I'm missing a Hogan figure. It's an old toy that one of, if not my first, one of the earliest ones I remember owning, and it was a little like yay big plastic figure, but it had a hole in the back, and you would put your thumb on the back, and you would do thumb wrestling with figures. Now, I know I own Hogan and the Junkyard Dog because that was the 2-pack that my parents bought for me way back when. And I still need to find that Hogan. I don't know where that Hogan is. I've looked, but it hasn't popped up. But I did find this Hogan. This is a Hulk Hogan, and if I can read the copyright, which I can't, I think it says kind of faded, but yeah, no idea. It's really faded there on the back. But this is the second Hogan I remember owning. As a kid, I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan. I freaking, you know, ate my prayers, said my violence, and cheered for the 24-inch pythons. So I was a huge Hulkamaniac. So I back then, you know, couldn't buy as many toys. My parents wouldn't buy me as many toys, and but I did have this one. It's a Hulk Hogan that slams people. So I have that. Then later on, my memory is not as good as it used to be. I think I might have mentioned this before. I'm pretty sure I got this as a GameStop exclusive. I don't remember what video game they were promoting. If it was one of the main series or WWE Superstars, which was this cartoonish kind of game. But if you would pre-order the game, you would get this figure, an Andre the Giant figure. And this toy is pretty huge, as well he should be, because it's Andre the Giant. Look at him all big there. And the likeness is pretty spot on, you can see. So Andre the Giant, really cool figure to have. One of the classics. I'm noticing that when does this come out? 2000 looks like 2001 maybe. But yeah, he's not that old. Again, I got it when that reserved GameStop thing, and I only got it for Andre. Then I picked up these two, classic Hulk Hogan. This is classic Hogan, which works great because, you know, just to show the scale of Andre against Hogan, you know, recreating WrestleMania 3. This is classic Hogan with his Hulk Rules shirt, his WWF headband, you know, his classic happy look, and his uniform. And the other one I have is the NWO Hollywood Hulk Hogan figure. Same mold as this one, but the paint is different. They pin it on his beard, and of course he has the pants. So this is Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I know this was part of a 3-figure set. It had Classic Hogan, NWO Hogan, and the Hulk Hogan when he returned, which is kind of like a fusion of these two. But I don't have that one, and I don't want that one. I have Classic Hogan and NWO Hogan. Then I went with my daughter at a flea market. I take that back. It was a garage sale, and I was buying stuff for my kid, and in a box for 5 pesos, which is, I don't know, like a quarter. Found these two for her. I might have mentioned them in a pickup video. This is Randy Orton in his first figure. I know that because when Randy Orton joined Evolution, he had a back tattoo and a tattoo here and a tattoo here. But when he debuted, he didn't have any tattoos. So this is Randy Orton's first figure, and the likeness is pretty cool. And Carlito Cuaron. He was the guy that would eat apples and spit it at people's faces because they didn't want to be cool. And they got his hair down pretty cool. So yeah, got those two for my kid. Then what did I find? Then I found a John Cena figure. So I own a John Cena figure. You can't see me. A lot of people are not fans of John Cena for some reason. I've never had a problem with John Cena. He's always delivered good matches. Is he a corporate tool? Well, that's the way that he's been. That's the role that he had. He was the face of the company. But he does work for good work for children. Helps out whenever he can. So I got nothing against John Cena really. Then I picked up the Big Show. Found the Big Show at a flea market. Now, the Big Show's a big guy, but they really cheaped out on the figure. I mean, this is the Big Show. This is Andre the Giant. Big Show is smaller than Andre the Giant. But yeah, these are the two giants. So I found the Big Show. Then I found a bunch of figures one day that I bought. At a flea market, they had all of them, so I bought all of them. Picked up Batista when he was in part of Evolution, with his little beard here and his tattoos. So this is when he was part of Evolution. Then I picked up Undertaker with his tongue sticking out there. The likeness of this Undertaker figure is not the best. I've seen figures that look a lot closer to the Undertaker. And this is his after he returned as he was the American Badass. Then he got buried alive and he returned. So this is during that era. Then I picked up his brother Kane. So I own the Brothers of Destruction. Then I picked up a Evolution version of Triple H. Likeness is pretty cool. I know this is Evolution because during Evolution he didn't have a beard. He shaved off his beard. So this is Evolution Triple H. Then a screaming Stone Cold Steve Austin. As popular as Steve Austin was, him and Shawn Michaels are not my favorite wrestlers. I respect their work, but I was never a huge fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin or Shawn Michaels. But during the Attitude Era, Stone Cold was the biggest superstar, him and The Rock. So it seems weird not to own a Stone Cold Steve Austin figure. And he was there, but actually that was the last figure that they had, which I picked up just to pick them all up. But before I saw Austin in that flea market, I picked up the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Classic. I wish this one would have had his robe. Because that's the thing when you buy second-hand figures, it's nearly impossible to find the accessories. You'll rarely find one with robes or jackets or belts. If you find a belt, you're lucky. Like The Undertaker. The Undertaker has this belt, which is the Tag Team Championship belt. but he had it on, and I did find some belts now that I mention it. Oh, yeah. So it's very rare to find a figure with the accessories, but I found this Ric Flair likeness is pretty spot on. Looks very much like the Nature Boy Ric Flair, so that was cool. And the two titles I found was the Hardcore Championship, which again, finding these kind of stuff loose is very rare. I've never come across belts until now. And the WCW World, this one right here. Well, this is the WWF version, but the WCW Big Gold Belt, which works great because I can put it on the wrestler that's more iconic with the Big Gold Belt, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! So Ric Flair's gonna keep that Big Gold Belt. Then I found one day when I went to Movie Freak Bazaar, this random lady was selling clothes, and she had the only Olympic gold medalist called Kurt Angle in his bold face. This is when after he lost the hair versus hair match with Edge. So bold Kurt Angle. Likeness is not all there. Doesn't really look much like Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle's never really been this buff. But he has the red, white, and blue, so had to get him because there's two eras of. Actually, I take it back. There's three eras of a wrestling that I have enjoyed. The classic one from the 80s, with your Hogans, with your Ultimate Warriors, your Macho Mans, your Jake the Snakes. That's the one where I grew up. Then the Attitude Era, your Hogans, your Rocks, your Triple H's. Those are that was another era that I enjoyed a lot. I really liked the Attitude Era. Actually, Need Mankind, and the Ruthless Aggression. The last pickup video I kept repeating Attitude Era when I was talking about Edge, but him, John Cena, Randy Orton, they're from the Ruthless Aggression. Kurt Angle is part of the Ruthless Aggression era. So I would like to owe Mankind and from the Attitude Era and Rey Mysterio. Then I picked up from a flea market, real random, this Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is of course a wrestler that won that awesome championship match at WrestleMania 30. Unfortunately, because of a very severe injury, he had to retire. But he was a good wrestler. He was the smaller kind of wrestler, more technical wrestler. But he was really cool. So of the modern age, the PG era, Daniel Bryan is the only one that I care to buy for. Maybe if I find Finn Balor, the Demon King is a pretty cool design. Then I went to another flea market and I found the People's Champ, the Great One. Now this is modern Rock with his bald head and his new tattoos. Being secondhand, his tattoos are wearing off, but it still has the Brahma Bull. So the Rock from the Attitude Era, because you have to own a Rock figure, and this is the best Rock figure that I've seen. I've seen some older Rock figures, and the face doesn't look right, but this one's the closest one that looks like the Rock with his eyebrow there. So have to own a Rock. And the last one I picked up recently, again, the face looks really cool, if a bit smushed, and Edge has never been this buffed up, but I picked up the rated R Superstar Edge, the Ultimate Opportunist. Really cool, from the Ruthless Aggression area. Of course, like I mentioned in that video, has had legendary matches with John Cena and a whole bunch of other people. So really cool to own this. I would love to own a Lita figure to go with Edge, because that period when Edge was with Lita was amazing. That's what, in my opinion, his best period as a heel, when he was with Lita. So picked up Edge. Like I said, there are still some figures I would like to own, so I can display them from the classic era. And I've spoken to this about this with Moviejohn, because he's getting into collecting figures too. Would love to own a Macho Man, Jake the Snake, Ultimate Warrior, and Bret Hart from the classic era. Like I said, was never that huge a fan of Shawn Michaels. If I come across one cheap, I'll probably pick it up. But those four: Jake the Snake, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, and I just forgot the other one, and Bret Hart. Oh, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. With his passing, I've seen a really cool Bobby the Brain Heenan figure. So if I see Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'll definitely pick that one up. It's really cool. His face looks spot on like Heenan, and he has a white suit. Great figure. So those five. From the Attitude Era, Mankind is the only one I'm interested in buying. I would really like to own a Mankind figure. And from the Ruthless Aggression, Rey Mysterio. I would like to get Rey Mysterio because he was really big too. He had a whole bunch of matches. Also, even though I know it's going to be really hard to find both of them, Chris Benoit. Despite the fact that everything that happened at the end of his career, Chris Benoit was a good wrestler. Loved a bunch of his matches. So Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero. Also a China figure. I forgot about China. China was really cool. Lita was another good one. And from the New Blood, other than the Demon King, Finn Balor, there's no one else that's I would want to pick up. No disrespect to the New Blood, but there's no one that pops out as much as Daniel Bryan or Finn Balor. Oh, and Brock Lesnar. I was mentioning this to Moviejohn. Brock Lesnar. I would like to get Brock Lesnar because he did span the Ruthless Aggression era, and is the only really cool. Well, there's other wrestlers that are cool, but Brock Lesnar. I would love to own a Brock Lesnar. But yeah, that is my very small figure collection. Me and Moviejohn were watching videos from guys that have a lot more than this. People that have way more figures than I ever could. And again, talking about this with Moviejohn, I don't want to own everything. The belts are different. I would love to own all the belts, every single one of them, because they're belts. They're cool. But figures, I have very specific favorite guys that I would like to own, and only those. I don't want to own a freaking, I don't know, Mojo Rollins. I don't want to own a Mojo Rollins figure. I don't think it's Mojo Rollins. I don't know, the guy that goes whoo whoo whoo. Not that guy. Or who's another mid-carder that I don't really care for. I don't know, Fandango. I'm not gonna buy every figure under the sun. I just want to focus on my favorite ones. I do wish there were really detailed luchador figures, but they're not. And that's another thing. Speaking with Moviejohn, this is an elite figure because it has a buttload of articulation. This moves, this moves, this moves, this moves, this moves, the legs moves. So a bunch of articulation. I know this is an elite figure. And then you have your basic figures. I guess this would be a basic figure. Not so many articulations, but I'm not as much as I do like collecting, I don't want to get into all those. I don't want to go too deep into it because I know myself, and if I go really deep into stuff, I'm gonna buy variants. Like this is this might be an Edge version, and then you might have a different Edge which has different beard or a different color trunks, and I don't want to get that deep into it. I just want to own the one figures for the main guys I'm interested in, and that's it. I need to focus and not buy a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of belts, I do have different copies of belts, and I might do an updated belt collection. But for you, Moviejohn, I wanted to do this figure collection. Like I said, I don't have the biggest collection, and I don't want to own everything under the sun. I don't want to buy a Tatanka wrestling figure because that's no offense to Tatanka, but he wasn't like my all-time favorite. But just the main ones that I want to get, and I'm getting closer to owning all of them. I'm only missing like 10 figures maybe tops. But yeah, this one's for you, Moviejohn. Thanks so much for your suggestion. And if anyone has other suggestions that you would like to see me make a video of, an updated belt collection, anything you want to see, I'll make the time and I'll record it for you guys and upload it. But until I see you all again, this was Vargas El Mexicano, your World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion with the big gold belt. Thanking you all, and I'll see you next time. But until then, goodbye, and I'm signing out.